everyone, welcome. I thought it might be nice to do like a 20-minute right before bed kind of yin, just to shed the day and clear the mind so that we have a beautiful sleep, nourishing, restful. My name is Monique. If we haven't met before, welcome. So I would suggest before we begin, if you can grab something, either a block or something that can resemble the use of a block. It could be a really big book. I would highly recommend finding something that, like a blanket or a towel that you can roll to whatever thickness you might need. All right, and if you need a blanket or something, if you want to continue your Shavasana a little longer, maybe in a little bit extra warmth, just have a blanket close by. All right, and we'll start our first posture into a toe stretch. So just come on up, your knees close together. I'm going to go a little bit sideways so you can see what I'm doing. I want you to curl your toes under. All right, reach back and grab your pinky toe and aim it forward. Guide it in the same direction as all the other toes. All right. Sometimes our knees are super sensitive. You could take whatever towel or blanket you created and put it right into the crease behind your knee. Okay, and that can kind of give you a little bit of relief. Knees get a little bit less bent that way, a little bit more roundness. All right. And when you notice your feet, I asked you to bring your big toes together. That's ideal, but if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. And the heels of your feet, bring them in a little bit closer towards each other. Okay, as close as you can, any amount. Flip the palm side of your hands to face up. All right, sitting with a nice tall spine, take a big breath in. And a slow breath out. If this is really intense in your feet, feel free to bring your head and shoulders slightly forward, right? That brings a little bit of weight out of the hips, directs a little bit of weight out of your heels so that there's less pressure, less bend in your toes, right? But challenge yourself to stay quite tall in your back. And as you close your eyes, focus on the length of your inhale. Breathe into your fullest capacity. And then exhale nice and slow. Notice if your shoulders are rising with your breath. Keep your arms and your shoulders heavy, melting down. And maybe this is your first yin class. And you might be saying, how long am I going to stay in this pose? Well, typically in a yin practice, we do hold the postures for about at least 2 minutes, maybe longer, depending on the pose. So train your mind to find its own way to step away from the extreme discomfort, if that's what you're having. Maybe by just noticing the breath, maybe by shifting when needed. Let's take about 5 more breaths here. Let's inhale through the nose and exhale from your mouth. Notice the length of your exhale. Let it be slightly longer than the inhale that brought you there. Last 3 breaths. Know that you can come out of it when you like, and do so slowly, not like you're going for a rush. All right, 2 more breaths. Last breath in. And a slow breath out. And then just come forward onto your hands. Slowly uncurl the toes. Right, and as you lift your feet from the ground, circle your feet in one direction and the other. And then just sliding your feet to the left-hand side so you can sit on your right hip. And then just in a nice tall seat, coming into a Baddha Konasana, cobbler's pose, right? The soles of your feet are together. And you might notice that your knees are really hiked up high, and that might be a nice way to place a block underneath your seat. All right, that might help the whole thing. Okay, and you might take your blanket and do the same thing, kind of create a little bit of a forward tilt in your hip bones so that your tailbone is a little further behind you. And you might even take two supports outside your knees. All right, bring your fingertips behind you, shift your hips to the back. All right, I'm going to just let this stuff go. And you might take your feet in your hands, right? We did a toe stretch, so you might just give your feet a little bit of a rub. The soles of your feet are together, kind of like a book. You might also enjoy the pose with the heels of your feet a little bit more forward. Right? You might decide to do that. We'll let a few breaths just resonate here, just to allow the legs just to come down a little heavier. Got some candles back there. There we go. And we're going to add a little bit, just a tiny bit of a stretch for the upper back. We're going to add a little bit of eagle arms right here. So take your arms, sweep them right up overhead. All right, it's the right arm that will find its way underneath the left, right? Crossing to bind your arms, place your hands together. You might even just make an X with your hands if hands together is more than your shoulders prefer today. All right. Press your sitting bones down, pull the fingers up as you breathe in. And then just begin to bring the forearms forward. Any amount, right? And you might stop a lot sooner than this. A nice thing to do is to take that towel or that blanket and just place it by your tummy so that you get to round into it. Pull the elbows forward. Find a comfortable position in the back of your neck, one that makes sense with the line of your spine. Your feet are pressing together. Take a nice big breath into the upper back. And then let yourself melt a little bit more. Right, in a yin practice, there's no real goal. We don't force ourselves to a certain point. But we do allow the breath to help relax the body. And the more the body is relaxed, the more it'll let itself open up into the shape you're creating. Focus on your breath. That beautiful length of the inhale. And that slow, natural exhale. You might find that the elbows are touching your feet now. And if that's not the case, that's okay. Remember, there's no goal here. And if you find yourself compressing a little bit too much into the tummy, be sure to pull the fingers forward, the elbows away from the belly. And we're going to hold this posture for about 4 more breaths. Three more. Right, 2 more. And then one last breath. Draw your navel in to protect your low back, and let's rise on up on the inhale. Settle here for an exhale. Inhale, circle both arms up. Hands come to prayer, exhale out. Extend your legs forward. Right? You might even like to bring a little bit of movement and kind of just shaking out your knees a little bit. This next pose, straight legs, so similar forward fold, but this time with the legs straight. Right? Your feet flex, your toes turned up. If you need to bend your legs any amount, just draw your heels in. You can have as much of a bend in your knees as you can. All right. Take a breath in. Maybe you scoot your sitting bones behind you a little bit more. Inhale here. And then just walk your hands about half a foot ahead. The spine stays nice and long. Now let's come right back up to a seated position. Keep your legs as they are, Paschimottanasana. Inhale, reach both arms high up overhead. This time we're going to take the left arm, eagle arms, binding the left arm under. Right? You can press palms. You can kind of make this X shape in the body, in the arms. Right? Take a breath in here, lift your elbows up a little higher. Start to draw the elbows forward. Notice the spine stays real straight. And the rounding only comes at the very end. All right? If you don't go very far, you might take that blanket and just provide yourself a little bit of support right where you need it. Right? So you're sort of resting your body on there. Focus on delivering the breath right in between your shoulder blades. Find a nice relaxing position for your head, not looking too much forward or all the way down, just right in between. Remember, your feet are flexed, so there is a certain amount of activation in the legs. And I can describe to you what I feel when I breathe in real full, but let this be your experience. What do you feel when you inhale to your fullest breath in? Do you feel it in your back? You might even feel it in your seat, in your pelvic floor. And then through the exhale, does your body fold forward a little bit more easily? Right? Is it accepting this shape a little bit more the more you relax into it? 5 more breaths. Two more breaths. Inhale to your greatest capacity. And exhale out as slow as you can. Draw your navel in. Come up about halfway. And then release your hands to the ground. Walk your hands in so you create a nice tall spine. And you might decide to kind of give your legs a little bit of a wiggle, a little bit of a shake. And let's swing both feet behind us, coming into a tabletop. Right, have your props close by. All right, we're going to get from this tabletop right into a pigeon pose take your right knee and draw it forward towards your right wrist. And then taking the shin on, this is slightly forward slant. Right? Some of you might be able to get that parallel, but if it compromises your right knee, don't go there. All right, extend the left leg long. This is where you may put a block or a support of any type underneath your right side. Right, and then lift your chest. Crawl forward when you're ready. And just allowing your chest to melt towards the ground. You can put your head right down, maybe even stack your hands. You can take one of your blocks and just rest your forehead on there. As you start to incorporate a fuller and slower breath, very naturally your body is going to begin to relax. If you have trouble to fall asleep at night, breath awareness, right? Counting the length of your inhale, really trying to extend it, as well as the exhale. That might really give you a nice relaxing sensation. And then it might allow you to drift off a little bit more easy. And we're going to take about 5 more breaths. It's a 20-minute mini yin. Or if you're already in your pajamas, you can slip right into bed and just have the longest, maybe 8-hour shavasana. And then just bring the hands, when you're ready, underneath the shoulders. You're not moving very quickly. Lift your chest. Activate your left leg by turning the toes under and pick the knee away from the ground, and then come right back into your tabletop. All right, one set of cat and cow. Take a breath to drop the belly, curl your tail up, look forward, inhale. And then exhale, cat spine. Draw the navel in, tuck the pubic bone forward, chin to chest. And then breathe in, come to a neutral spine. Let's take the left knee forward. Work the right leg long as you slide the left foot over to the right for your pigeon pose on the other side. Right? Guide your right leg longer behind you. And you might place some sort of a block or support, any kind of support, underneath your left side. Right? Breathe in, lift your chest. Settle the weight into your hips. Right? Notice if you're pressing into the hands real hard, bring the weight into the back body a little bit more. And then when you're ready, just come on forward. Like you want to crawl your upper body away from your hips. Right? You might stay right on your forearms. You might come right down, send the elbows wide. Right? Notice what the shape your shoulder blades are making. Is there a big dip in the center? Can you flatten that out, broaden out the back, and pull the shoulders away from the ears? Focus on your breath. Let every inhale fill up your whole body. And exhale to slow everything down a whole lot. And then go ahead, place your hands into the mat, lift your chest. Curl your back toes under. Do pick your knee up. It's going to make it a little bit easier to come back to your tabletop. Knees down. Breathe in, drop the belly, curl your tail, look up. Exhale, reverse that shape. Inhale, come to neutral. Walk your knees forward and then sit onto your right hip so you can take your legs to the front. All right, if you have any kind of support, a block ideal, okay, but we know we don't all have those. You can place a book or a rolled up towel. I might even use both to really get a nice lift. So I'm going to put that on the block that's a little bit lower. Okay, make sure that there's no bumps to bother me. Princess and the Pea. And you're going to draw that block, that first support, quite low. Bring it right onto the back, as close into your seat as you can. All right, draw your navel in, keep your legs bent, and just allow your upper body to go right over that support. And let your bum slide down to the mat. It wants to lift, but you want to feel your seat touching the ground and the support is just slightly higher. We're going to place the support by your head at any level. And then once you're there, fan the arms from the body. You feel the great opening you created in your chest. You can keep your knees bent, but it might feel really nice to extend the legs. And a little bit more support, a little bit more of a grounding sensation in your seat. And where the other poses, we might have felt a whole lot of breath in the back body. This one's quite obvious in the front body. Expand your chest, lift it right up to the sky. On the exhale, the arms, the shoulders get a little heavier. A nice rolled up towel might be just enough if you haven't found a support, or if you haven't got a block close by. You notice that the whole seat is grounded onto the mat. And shoulders are melting down. Chin tucks in so the back of the neck has zero compression. If you need to come out of this pose at any time, think about what it would look like if you were to rewind a tape. So come back to the bent legs. And holding onto the head as you lift up. We've got about 3 more breaths. Two more. And then one last one. Just slowly slide the right foot in, and then slide the left foot in. Bring your chin to your chest. And just fingers behind the head as you raise your head away from that upper support. Kind of roll onto your left hand side or right, depending on which way you're facing. And then just slide the props out of the way. Right out of the way. And then come on down. Let your body open up into your final Shavasana. Extend your arms and your legs. Just into a nice final resting pose. You might even choose to stay in the Shavasana for about 5 to 10, 15 minutes, or like I said, take it right to your bed. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. Thank you so much for participating in this 10-day challenge. Right? Have a great evening. Namaste.